Welcome, guys. We are here to know more now on SQL. I have been not been able to make the videos, upload them for a while now, and we are going to continue from where we left off on SQL. Now, in SQL, what we did is to discover some of the default tables, how to find some tables using the use commands, and show all the tables what are there, discover new tables, then go on and update them, change their values, like we change some names of our states here, like Bengali, West Bengali to West Bengal, right? And more than that, we are going to now learn like how to create the databases, how to go for new tables, creating new tables, inserting data inside them, then seeing what all data are inside that using the different uses of select command. Then finally we can know about how to update. We know already what is updating some values inside it, and then we have to delete the rows, and then we have to see how to delete table or a database. Okay, so let's start. We are going to create our database as create. I'll just name it create database. You can also use db, no problem. It allows all kinds of shortcuts here, very user friendly. So create database, test demo, right? Semicolon, and says query. Okay, right? So we have to now use this database. So use test demo database changed. Now we have to create a table. Now here's what actually makes difference is you can either write it in a single row or you can write it using enter, but remember that once you press enter you cannot go back and edit that line. So before you press enter you should always check for any kind of syntax error or else your entire query goes wrong. Many people advise like you can go for say uh, going for a notepad, type in your entire command and then post it there. If it is possible for you, you can do that, or else you can just be careful while typing it. So since these all commands are like DDL commands, like the data definition commands, you have these kinds of things like create table. So you have to always mention this word table here because all are related to defining the table, right? So create database or create table, you always define the thing. So the thing you are defining, you have to mention that. So create table. Let's name our table as say the good old student, because you can always have a database on a student, right? And to tell what are we going to have, what types of columns we have, we'll open the parenthesis, and here's what I press enter. So we are going to define all the things. Now there are different types of things as we discovered last time. One thing is called key. Okay, and key, a primary key is mandatory for any table because that uniquely identifies a single row in every table. So you must have a primary key. Now in primary key, as I explained earlier, it has to be very unique and it should individually be able to define that column, and as well as it should also define the row in the entire thing. So what can be a primary key? Sometimes it can be in a mobile number. So in modern databases, or say in Facebook also, you can also log in through your mobile numbers, and that shows like how you are going to use your primary keys here, because your mobile number is unique in the entire world, and that number can uniquely define you as a person. Similarly, for a student here, we will have a registration number, which is usually the primary key for all of us as a student. So registration number, and since we have a combination of numbers and letters, I'll keep it varchar, which is one of the data types to store the string data, right? And we have to specify the size. So what will be the size? I'll say let it be 18, right? Since it is 15, I just want to increase it to say 3 or something. And then tell the key. So we had to say it is primary key right here itself. So primary key, registration number varchar 18 primary key. Then I have to put a comma here and then press enter. So I am checking like my entire value is correct here, and you can see that, right? And then I'll go for the next line. So what else we have? So once after registration number, we can say that let's enter a name. So yeah, name varchar. The name might range from like say 5 to 30 letters. We'll just keep it 30, varchar 30. Nobody will have more than that. Then we can give it as not null because we don't want it to be null anytime. So we can't have any name as empty. So let's keep it as not null. So every time you have to at least enter the name. Then what can we have? We can have say DOB just to get hang of all the data types here. So for storing date, we have a data type here defined, which is just date, and this we will just keep it like that. We person might want to enter or not. After DUB, we can put say mobile number maybe. So mob number. Okay, and once we give mob number, we have to put it in a data type. So you can have integer here, right? So I'll just put int, say 10. Always give one greater than your actual size of the data type. That actually keeps it always at full integer, right? That keeps it from like suppose if you have a say some kind of error, you won't have the length of the data type to be less, right? So that's one of the reason why we always take one of the thing. I'll keep it as unique because your mobile number is always unique. Okay, so once I'm done, like these are my columns in my table, which is student, right? And I'll just put it like close of parenthesis here, right? One close because that will just work on this, and semicolon. That completes it. Once I click enter, query okay, zero rows affected because we don't have any rows right now. So when I press desk student here, you can see it is telling me all the data, all the columns and all the column names, type of the data stored in that, null or not, key there or not, default, extra values. So all these stuff you can have it here. So if you wanted to have like auto increment like which we had it in the last video, you can also put it right here with varchar here, this thing, right? So moving on, like this is our description of our students, and now we will know how to insert our data. Insertion is very simple. You have to be just logical. So it's something like that. Insert into. So insert into what? So I have to insert my data inside a table. So what is my table name? Since it is not a DDL language here, insert into is not a part of DDL, it is a part of DML. So you're manipulating the data, so you don't have to be worried about table structure. You have to be worried about what is your table. So here you are directly saying like insert into what table. So yeah, insert into student, right? Always write, remember like this, DDL or DML. DDL, I have to mention some keyword. DML, no need for any keyword. Just go for insert into table name like that. So insert into student what? So insert into tables students values because we have to enter insert some values, and inserting the values, right? I'll just put it. So whenever you have varchar, you have to use double quotes. So I'll just put RA 1411006060. Oh, did I put something? 601003, something like this. All right, and then comma, right? So you write all your values inside this thing. Okay, I'll put a name, uh, Raj Sharma. Okay, then the date of birth. So date of birth, you can either have it as null or you can specify it here. So what I will do is, whenever you are writing a date of birth, you should put it within double quotes. It should be something like this. So 12 12 1994. Okay, so once you do this, you have to close it. And as you can see, they can be separated. Your date, month, and year can be separated using the hyphen here, like this. Okay, or you can use forward slash. Okay, so this is the way you do it. And after that, what you can do is mobile number. So mobile number, just go 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 0. Okay, so put a semicolon. Now we can see that there is a incorrect data value. So why is that? Because the type of data it accepts in SQL is that it doesn't accept in this form. It always accepts in reverse form, which is internationalized. So what you do is it will be like 1994. It's in the reverse way. So always like year, month, then date. Let's try. See, it works. So always whenever you do it, you always remember that we have to put our date values in reverse order. It is always like year, month, and date. You don't change this order. It is always reverse, right? So your value will be displayed in this form, and let's check like whether it is inserted properly. So select star. Star means all the rows from student. As you can see, registration number displayed, name displayed, date of birth displayed, mobile number displayed. Now you can insert multiple things. What I like is you can go through cursor, you can go up, down, like browse through all your commands, like you can do it in any console things. So I'll just change the values here. So yeah, I'll put it as say 34. Radhika Singh. Oops. Okay, keyboard. And we'll just change it to say third. No, we don't have a month of 13. We'll put it as March 02. Okay, 2nd of March, and we'll just give it like tap 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10. Done. So as you can see, we can have now two values here. See, it's so easy to put it like this. And suppose if I don't want to even give this, so let's have another one which has like all the null values. So 12, let's have this like stranger, and suppose we don't have any of these stuff. So I'll just put delete for all these stuff and remove the comma. See, column count value doesn't match for row 1. So why is it that? So if you even have it as say blank, you shouldn't give it like this. It will check for like all the column. So if you don't have anything, just put null and null. Once you put that, you can actually see it as null. So you can see something like you can notice something like I entered stranger last, and it is showing me like in order like stranger. So automatically our SQL is actually arranging all the rows in a incremental order. So my according to my primary key. So registration being my primary key, it is sorting all my data based on my primary key. So starting with 3, then 12, then 34. So stranger, even if I have entered it in the last order, it is now in the second order in my table. So that's a pretty cool thing in SQL. So you don't have to sort your data just like that unless you want to sort it with respect to some other columns here. So this is how we can just insert our data and check like whether they are inserted properly or not. Now we are going to know like what are the different types of selections we have with our conditions. So what are conditions? If you remember, like we used a condition called where here to update our table values in the last video. So here what we do is we are going to use the same thing by checking like selecting all the rows. So selecting all the rows where our DOB is null. Okay, so from select star from student where DOB is null. So this is very easy. So you don't have to do it like equal to null. You can just put is null. Is null is okay. So whenever you have to use is or equal to or not equal to with null, you always use is null or is not null. So is not null, right? And check both. So is null, you can see strange is there, and if we put it as is not null, all the others are there. So this is when you use the select command, you are basically viewing the rows. So you are not modifying any part of the table. These are the values which you are going to select. These are the number of rows which you are going to select and going to display it. It is not affecting any values in the table, right? So for affecting the values, you can do it as updating the rows. And we will just explore like what are the different types of conditions we can have with select, like if we can have anything else. So let's see. Star select, okay, space select star from student where, okay. Let's see where, let's have our registration number. It has a pattern, right? So registration number, like, now comes the best part which we have to explore. So percentage, just do it as array percentage 3. Can you see that? So here's something which we need to know, and this gives explains like what is the actual power of our database. You can search your data based on a pattern. So what we have done here is like we have taken a pattern here, and for checking for pattern you have to do it like your column name like some pattern. So like is your keyword here, okay, remember that. And your pattern should be in quote, single quote. So inside the single quote you explain what is your pattern. So I want a pattern which of my registration number which starts with RA and ends with 3. So all our registration number which starts with RA and ends with 3 will be displayed here. So we have a percentage symbol here. The percentage symbol denotes that every single thing, whatever, there can be any number of characters in between. So you can have a pattern which starts with RA, ends with 3, and in between you can have any number of characters. Okay, so if we do that, we are getting this answer. Okay, suppose I want to have it like say 3 underscore. There you have it. So one was say the percentage sign, the other was the underscore. Now, what is the difference between percentage and underscore? Is percentage says that any number of characters between or before or after, right? Underscore says that there's only one character. So if I'm putting it as RA percentage 3 underscore, Underscore means that I can have only one character after three. So any of these patterns where I have like say starts with RA can have any number of values between say my RA and the 3, and after 3 I'm having only one character. So this means that I'm searching for all the registration number which are like all the registration number in my entire database for all the students across any branches having their registration numbers in 30s. So 30 to 39. So if any people are having their roll numbers from 30 to 39, I'll get this values done. So irrespective of what values we are having right here, this place, okay, let's select it. So from this place to this place, we don't care anymore. We just want it should be RA and this should be within 30. So if it is like that, it will always display all my values. So to have a say values where we don't want it, so we can put not values. So not is something like wherever you put it, it will be just the opposite. See, so if it is not like this, then you can go for it. Very simple, just a few logical steps you want to know. Percentage, underscore, like. So this always does your pattern matching. And pattern matching is mostly useful only for varchar. So use it for varchar only. You may or may not use it for mobile numbers, etc. But I'll prefer you like it will be the best thing you do the pattern matching for your varchar values. So one was pattern matching. The other is we are going to check like the date of birth or say logical values like and or not. So we'll just go for the select and say we'll combine two values. So where um, DOB is greater than, you will have it inside the double quotes. So 194, 1994, say 6, 12. Okay. Or 1994 or DOB less than. Okay. 01, 12. Okay. So we have put a range like anyone having a date of birth from less than January 12th or greater than June 12th. Okay. And we have Raj Sharma here who has like say greater than this date and less than this date. So this is how you do it. So if you have or command here, it will be like on if one of the condition is valid, then it will satisfy it and show it. So if I'm having it less than this, so it is showing it. If it is having greater than this, no. So it is not qualifying for this condition, but it is qualifying for this condition and hence displaying the value. What if I put it as and? So So if I put it as and, it says that nothing is there inside this set. So then we are having a problem. So we are just saying that, oh, come on, this is not going to work. And hence we are not going to have any values inside it. So or and AND basically works in like any of the conditions you have in normal logical way. So you can check from ranges. So from this or this, so you can always go for and or. Right. Then you can also use the relational operators where you have the greater than or less than values. Okay, you can always use equal to here also. So all these stuff you can just experiment on and you can just explore it in normal ways. Now these are the basic stuff which you should know, like when you are going for select, when you're going for viewing the rows, and these are the basics you should be knowing, like what are the different types of pattern matching, how you are going to compare your values or your data, and that's it. Okay, and I'll go for, like, say now, deleting of rows. Okay, so how do you delete a row? Deleting a row is delete from which table. So delete from student. Again, it's a DML command, so you're deleting one row or something. Okay, so delete from student where my DOB is null. So I'll just remove the stranger row. Okay, query okay, one row affected. So you see, this statement actually modifies our data. So if I put now select star from student, oh, Mr. Star from student semicolon, you see, now it is actually modified. So delete statement has deleted my entire thing. And suppose I want to just change this Raj Sharma to small AJ. I made some mistake here. So suppose I want to change it. Okay, so I use my command update which table? Update student set name equal to Raj Sharma. Okay, now it is very important, like whenever you're deleting or updating any stuff, I said condition is mandatory because you don't want to change everything for all the rows. It is like least likely possible case where you have to change all the data inside any of the rows. So here in this case, like say where my DOB equal to, or say where my registration number, so I'll just go for registration number equal to RA11411006010003. Okay, and a semicolon. So I press enter and it is changed. So one row matched, one changed. So let's select. Now see, you can see that the name has changed. Okay, so here's why, like, I'm using my registration number because registration number uniquely defines this row. I can also use like this, but it may happen that same name can be there in your entire table. So if you have duplication in your entire table, then what you are going to do here is you will have error, you will be ending up changing two rows, which is actually not correct. So that's why you should always use a primary key whenever you are going to delete or say update your values here. Okay, so this was like on how to delete some values from our rows. Now what we are going to do is now delete the entire table. So delete is not going to work on a table. Can you tell me why? This is just to know that delete is a DML command. So you are going to delete our table. For deleting our tables or our databases, we are dealing with the structure of the table. So we are deleting the entire structure of our table. So what we can do is we have to know three things. Suppose I don't want to delete the structure, but I want to delete all the data from it. So I can use truncate here. So truncate student, zero rows affected. So let's see, empty set. So what truncate does is it preserves our entire structure, like all our columns are intact. If I just say describe student here, you can see all my columns are intact, but all the rows are vanished. So it deletes all the rows inside my table. So that's number one. So suppose there is a condition like where you don't want to have a table to be deleted, but you want to just clear the database, you want to clear the entire table of all the things. So in that case, we use truncate. Truncates deletes all the rows from your entire table. And if you want to suppose delete the entire table as a whole, then we have to use a command called drop. So it is a DDL command. So you have to use drop table, table name. Okay, semicolon, done. So now if we just see show tables here to check what are the tables in my database, empty set, because there is no table inside our database right now. Suppose I want to drop the database as well. So it's like drop our database. So DB. So you can also use database here. Database test demo, done. So now if I say show databases, test demo is not there. So you can use drop for deleting any table or a database at a time. So this is a DDL command. So make sure you always specify like table or database, so that it is able to know like whether you're deleting a table or a database at a time. So you have to define it. And that should be it for this session. We'll explore more on the like say how to write a program and link it to a SQL table, how to link two different tables. We'll explore more on that in our future sessions. For now, you can refer to the previous videos if you're not clear with some certain concepts, and wait for the next video. Okay, until then, you can like or subscribe this channel and go for any of the previous videos we have. Thank you.